Live from New York, it's a show that's not sure we believe our friend Ramsey, who is...
I believe him. He's been right about the Knicks all
in
year
5
long.
on our rundown.
He's not really right. He's just an ardent Knicks fan.
He's
just like Knicks.
No,
Knicks.
He hasn't been right.
Knicks.
We've been on the show for 5 years.
Yeah, it's not right. It's just your team finally came together.
Before the series, to be fair.
Wow.
He hasn't been wrong yet. Let's just see.
What do you have?
Knicks in 6.
6.
I
think Wilds is swaying.
And Brew, by
Wilds
the way,
is definitely
again, I don't want to spoil any part of our who you got tomorrow. But Brew picked the Spurs to lose 3 games before the series, but is going to as far.
Lose? Oh, yeah.
You picked Spurs in 7.
Yeah.
But every single game you've been like, I like the Spurs.
I'm picking the Spurs tomorrow. I mean, there's no secret.
It's very funny.
It should have been a sweep.
It's very funny how this works.
We're starting in the Garden. Wemby wins the must-win, 32 points, 3 blocks, several dunks, silenced a raucous crowd that hadn't seen the Knicks lose in over a month. Brew, is your faith restored in Wemby and the Spurs?
Well, look, it was definitely a good win, but they're still in a hole.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, y'all expect me to come out here and peacock and throw my legs up and order Tex-Mex and all that? Not yet. Not yet. 2-1, good win. Like I said yesterday,
win.
absolutely necessary win. Yesterday, like I said, I didn't feel like the series was over because I think you'll agree with me, Nick. Look, every single game could have went either way. Yes. It could be 3-0 Spurs, 3-0 Knicks, 2-1 either team. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Spurs could have, maybe should have won game 2, but all the games have been in the balance at the end, so it's very close. And the Spurs obviously pulled it out yesterday. The key to yesterday, though, was simple. It was Wemby went into the paint.
Correct.
Uh-oh.
And you guys know I've been saying that all season.
What does Brew want him to do?
The one thing, yes.
Flash across the key.
Like, these are his first 4 shots.
Yeah.
Love it.
Paint.
Yeah.
Paint. He was 4 for 4 on his first 4 shots early in the game.
That's right.
And then his 5th shot, which he missed, but watch it. Okay. He had Anunoby on him.
So there's the first 4.
Those are the first 4.
Yeah.
I think we have his 5th shot. I thought we did. But he posted Anunoby and turned and missed. But my point is, he played like he was 7'5" instead of 6'5".
Love it.
Now, I don't want him to not shoot threes because I think he's a good three-point shooter, not drive from the perimeter and things like that. He can do that, but it should begin in the paint. And that's not just on Wemby. It's on him, of course, but the coaching staff. You're supposed to tell your guys how to play. You tell them what position they play. Why in the world did you have to go down 2-0 before you tell him, get inside? It looked pretty easy yesterday. I get it. The Knicks probably weren't as physical as they had been in the first 2 games. They were doing a good job of keeping him out there, but he clearly wasn't committed to going inside in the first 2 games. This game he was, and you saw the result. And then, Nick, for the Knicks, they eventually, and we'll talk about Brunson and Cat, but they became too Brunson-centric.
Yep.
Last night they had 18 assists. In their 13-game win streak in the playoffs, they've averaged 27 assists a game.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they were not sharing the ball, and that was their demise. But that was the story of last night's game. Wemby inside, Brunson, too much Brunson.
So I want to start with Wemby. It was the first, in my opinion, the first game since game 1 of the Western Conference Finals where he was excellent in all 4 quarters. He did have that opening surge that I thought he was going to have, and then he also had an awesome second half, culminating with 10 points in the 4th quarter. We have not yet on this show figured out the best way to show you shot charts. So again, I'll show it to you anyway. And this involves a zoom in. If you look, so it's 4 threes, and then if you look near the basket, you can't see it all. He made 8 shots. There are 7 green dots right there.
Love it.
And so some of them are on top of each other, so it actually looks like
There's
less than what
also
it
no
was.
red X's in corner threes or the
And
gross
13
mid-range.
of his 18 shots were in the paint.
Yes.
11 of them were at the rim.
And only 4 were from three-point range. 2 of 4 from, 4 threes. He averaged 5.5 threes a game this season. I think 4 is probably more what he should average. I think that the jump shot being oh, wow, look at that, rather than a featured part of his game is, I think, where ultimately his career will end up, because he will get stronger, because he will, I think, get a better endurance level. So I'm not sure, Brew, if the coaches haven't been telling him to get inside. And
then he should have been. He would have been inside if they were telling him to.
Or
I mean, 7'5".
I mean,
what are we doing?
Like the first 2 games and much of the just season, his career, he starts out at the 3-point line.
Yes, I mean that.
Like they do start that way.
And so listen. It was an awesome response to the end of Game 2. It was a championship-level response from Wemby to have that great of a game in that critical of a spot. It does not, to me, it should not fully restore Spurs fans' faith, because let's just operate in a world for a moment where the Knicks are the way better team, where the Knicks are a huge favorite, put it like that. In that series, and again, home court would probably be different, but if the much better team, if the big favorite wins the first 2, we always expect the team down 2-0 to show a higher level of desperation, to be better executing, and to say, hey, this isn't going to be easy, even if they're going to go on to lose in 5. The Game 3 is almost always the game that if a team has any shot whatsoever, that they punch back. And the Knicks, too, and this might apply to some of the Mike Brown officiating conversation later in the show. The Knicks did not lose because of officiating. They lost because for the first time in 6 weeks, they played poorly. They didn't execute offensively well, and defensively, it was their least connected they have been defensively, I felt, since really in this streak, except for maybe the first 3 quarters of Game 1 against the Cavs, when they just looked totally out of sorts.
And yet they were great in the second quarter.
The
Knicks.
Oh, the
Knicks. They outscored them, by 18 or something?
And that's where I will give the Spurs the most credit. Even though I still think the Knicks are the better team and the Knicks are going to win this series. I thought the game ended at halftime. I thought having Wemby have that type of first half, the Knicks play, to my eye, not very well, and yet still have a 7-point halftime lead. I thought they were going to come out, the Knicks were, execute really well to start the second half, get a 12, 15-point cushion, and the Spurs were going to fold. The exact opposite happened. The Knicks came out at halftime, turned the ball over a bunch. The Spurs immediately erased the deficit, and they then controlled the rest of the game. And the Knicks were fortunate to have a chance late. But no, so I still think the Knicks are better, but I have to give all the credit in the world for Wemby not just putting up, okay, well, those are good numbers, but you saw his impact. Every moment he was on the court, he was great on both ends, and he did it in a way that it does feel like if he has this level of stamina and energy the rest of the way, he should be able to do it more, repeatedly throughout the series.
Brew, I want to get your reaction on one of the more controversial plays in the game. The note on this is from Mark Stein. The league will be reviewing this to see if it's a flagrant. Yep. It looks like Brunson has maybe a fistful of Wemby's jersey, and it's a pretty obvious shove to the superstar of the opposite team. I don't remember there being a play like this in the finals that was not called and was just sort of a play on. Josh Hart took exception to it. Brunson took exception to it. Do you expect it to be
early in the game?
Yeah.
You can't even be like he was boiled over. Like it's 7 minutes into the game.
So do you think a flagrant is coming? Do you kind of like Wemby's attitude?
I think it should have it's obviously a foul. Will they make it a flagrant? I'm not sure. I think if they do, it's justified.
Yes.
Absolutely justified. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a foul. Maybe it's a flagrant foul. I don't think it's like a dangerous play. It's a push. It's a shove.
Because it's a push to the head.
Like it's not like the Nas Reed, elbow where you
Pushing
really could have hurt
somebody in the head is
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it as it's like a little sun, and he sunned him, which, you know, I mean, that's kind of what it is. But he might get a flagrant, and you won't hear a peep out of me in saying it was the wrong call, because that's just, you can't do that. They were fortunate to get away with it. I think they were looking at Towns and Johnson battling, but Johnson should have been called for a foul there. He was called a few seconds later for a foul on Cat. But, but the attitude, do I like it? I'm cool with it. I mean, you know, these dudes are trying to win the finals. And I know that's out of bounds, and like I said, he should have been penalized for it. But I don't look at it as, you know, what in the world is he doing? Oh my gosh, question his character. No, man, these dudes are trying to win.
So I'm not questioning his character. I do think he has in these playoffs, when he had the Naz Reid elbow, one of the things I said was that was a dirty play, but he has earned the benefit of the doubt of his career of not having any reputation.
That's right.
Since then, we have seen him, I believe, order the code red.
Oh, yeah.
After Carter Bryant body blew Shea, said to Carter Bryant, "I'm proud of you." This play, throwing Alvarado, he's showing he has, again, aside from the Naz Reid play, I won't call any of that dirty, but a mean streak, which, by the way, almost every all-time great big has had. So I don't have a problem with that. I do want to spend a couple minutes here, KW, on the flagrant piece of it, because I do think it should be upgraded to a flagrant, and I do think that could seriously impact the series. So one of the reasons I think it should be upgraded to a flagrant is I firmly believe that Jalen Brunson's restraint saved Wemby a flagrant foul here. Because if Jalen Brunson gets up and grabs Wemby, and then the refs call a T, then they go to the monitors, they look at it, and that's going to be a flagrant foul. Right. If there had been any stoppage there, they would have reviewed it. So if Brunson jumps up, even if he gets a T, that doesn't really matter.
Then Brunson would just get a T.
Not a flagrant. He wouldn't get a flagrant. Right. He would get a technical, which wouldn't be a personal foul, wouldn't be a flagrant foul point. So I think that should weigh a bit to the NBA. I also think Wemby did not get fined for the elbow, did not get fined for not talking to the media. The NBA.
That's why I'm wondering if he'll get a flagrant.
Well, they keep erring on give the kid the benefit of the doubt. But here is why I think if this gets upgraded during the show, it could, to a flagrant foul, it can have a real impact on the series. I want to now show a Josh Hart play later in the game that was totally accidental, and you'll see it better on a second replay. But on the second replay, what you'll see is Josh doesn't fall down, doesn't anything. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, the way it's called today, a landing space flagrant.
Well, they called it on Brunson.
They called it on Brunson. Watch it again, Brew. Watch Wemby jumps backwards towards him, and Josh Hart's foot lands on his foot. Josh just doesn't fall down. Watch his right leg. It's not even close. He lands on his ankle.
I don't like those. If you're taking a shot from three and you land inside the three-point line.
And he spread his legs almost like so he couldn't land on his foot.
So I'm not asking for this to be a flagrant foul. I hate that that's a flagrant foul. I hate that that counts to flagrant foul points. Here's the only reason I bring it up. If this gets upgraded to a flagrant, Wemby has to be in games 4, 5, and 6. Not game 7. Go crazy in game 7 because there's nothing after that. A touch more cautious on block attempts and closeouts because a fourth flagrant foul point is a suspension. And he's got two. If this gets upgraded, he has no margin of error.
I mean, then it
they probably won't upgrade it. No, real talk. Nobody wants Wemby out of the series.
No one. I don't even think the Knicks want him out.
No. Just like when Brunson got hurt in the first game, I was like, no, please don't be hurt. They'd be crazy. Unless he does something egregious, they'd be crazy to take him out of this series.
I agree with that entirely. What I will say is I think he has done now two things these playoffs that are objectively, to me, worthy of 3 total flagrant foul points. The elbow to Naz Reid is worth 2 every time, and I think this play to Brunson is very clearly worth 1. If I don't want him out of the series, no one wants him out of the series, I think the Knicks will win the series with Wemby playing at full strength. But much like I felt, and I think many people felt, when Draymond missed a game for slapping at LeBron, that even you put yourself in jeopardy with the body slam of Michael Beasley 3 weeks prior that you had no reason to do. If the bill ultimately comes due on his play on Naz Reid via a closeout flagrant foul because he lost his temper again on Brunson, it wouldn't be good for the sport, it wouldn't be good for the viewers, but it wouldn't be unjust. And so I think the league should upgrade it. And then Wemby's going to have to be very cautious on how it's also on block attempts. Like
you block attempt,
accidentally hit a guy in the head because
that would not be
those three flagrant fouls. If he gets it, these two are not bad luck. These were intentional non-basketball plays, and so you remove your margin of error. My opinion.
The league better be silent on it then. For the health of the league, it doesn't make sense to give him a flagrant, although I do understand by letter of the law.
If David Stern were still commissioner, you remember the Knicks with Patrick Ewing way on the other side of the court, suspended for games. So he would be in trouble with Stern because Stern would go by the letter of the law. I think Silver more goes by the spirit.
But again, you couldn't go by the letter of the law here and then be very gray area on the one that would get you your fourth. Calling this a flagrant will not get him suspended.
Yeah, I know.
But but I think this is worthy of a flagrant. I do think that.
All right, we'll keep our eye on it if it breaks during the show. Yesterday, we were talking about Karl Anthony Towns being the Finals MVP. For what it's worth, NBA.com's MVP ladder still has him at number 1.
No.
But we're looking at a fourth quarter disappearing act. Only had 11 points in Game 3 and has yet to score in the fourth quarter in the Finals. Should the Knicks be worried about fourth quarter Cat?
Listen, I would not be worried, but I do think he got kind of mentally taken out of Game 2 when he picked up his fourth foul, and Game 3 he didn't re-engage. When he came out, because he was playing the best game of his life maybe until those 2 quick fouls. And so we can show you the splits between, the minutes are not that different, KW. 58 to 48. The production is 28 more points, 9 more rebounds, 5 more assists, the field goal percentage. And so he wasn't great at the end of Game 2, and he wasn't good at all yesterday. What are
you saying about that fourth foul?
I'm just saying that's the line. He was playing the best basketball of his life through 6.5 quarters of this series.
But he still, even in Game 1, was scoreless in the fourth quarter. So he just hasn't delivered in the fourth quarters.
But that's
period.
So I don't know if that's a problem, because here's Cat's production in the fourth quarter during their 13-game winning streak. 13 games, 9 points in the fourth quarter. So that's 0.7 points per game. It's less than 1 point per game in the fourth quarter. Less than 1 assist a game.
Blowouts.
That's fair. It has felt to me like the Knicks when they were running hot, those 13 games, Cat was doing a lot of the damage early. Brunson was doing a lot of the damage late. And so I wouldn't panic over the fact that same template, they finally lost a game. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, they got a closer, period. And you could talk, and we will talk about Jalen Brunson's struggles shooting the ball with his efficiency, but he's been great in the fourth quarters. He is 12 for 25, 48% shooting in the fourth quarters of this series, 32 total points. So he's averaging almost 11 points per fourth quarter in this series on pretty good efficiency. And he obviously won them Game 1 in the fourth, and then got the steal, technically won them Game 2 as well with the free throw. And Cat, I'm more concerned, if I'm a Knicks fan, that Cat wasn't involved yesterday at all, or for the most part. And one thing the Spurs did, we talked about Wemby's impact offensively. Defensively, they took him off Cat, which, again, why did it take 2 games? Everybody thought that was going to be the case. I get them not starting that way because they maybe want to throw the Knicks off.
Yeah.
But they went that way for 2 full games for the most part, and then switched it last night, which allowed Wemby to roam. And Josh Hart hit some threes, but still, you would live with it. And so Cat had Vassell, Keldon Johnson, De'Aaron Fox at times guarding him, and the Knicks didn't exploit it. Didn't expose it. So to me, that's them they don't run plays for Cat. It's kind of, he gets it and he does his thing, but there are times you need to just go to him. So that's more concerning to me than the fourth quarter, because you're right. It seems like that's kind of how Brunson's their guy in the fourth, and it's worked. But Cat needed to be way more involved in the game, at least in the first 3 quarters.
They did. A lot of the Knicks, and we'll talk about it throughout today's show, a lot of yesterday was, it's been a while since this has been the case. They didn't play well. Josh Hart.
But the thing is, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Josh Hart shot the lights out, and OG has been a metronome of consistency. Bridges played the worst game he's played since one of the first games of the playoffs. Cat was seemingly lethargic and not there. Brunson had his highest scoring game, but I didn't think was great. I thought the Knicks overall just didn't play very well. And we'll see if that's a trend or if it's just, you guys believe in due dates. If they were just due.
The thing is that they caught a heater all season long in the first 3 games of the playoffs. They were, they're pretty good. Then they got on this incredible heater and went to a level no one really thought they could, except perhaps them. Right. If you get on a heater, you can get off a heater. Yeah. And so that's going to be, they have to get back to playing the way they were, which is having Cat kind of, he had 1 assist.
Yeah.
He's averaged 5.5 through the playoffs, so that's a sign, too, that they didn't have the ball movement. He wasn't involved.
All right, quickly, we're going to talk about the officiating, some curious calls and lack thereof in Game 3. Mike Brown gave the Spurs credit, but also wanted to make a point about the officials. So here are the numbers. In the first half, the Knicks had 14, the Spurs only had 8, but then it flipped by a pretty good margin. 24 free throws in the second half for the Spurs, only 8.
And that series number, I feel like the Knicks 61 should have an asterisk. It should be 55. The 6 Mitchell Hack-a-Mitch free throws do not count.
Oh, that's
those are the Spurs saying desperately want you to shoot free throws.
That's
so,
a good point.
For whatever, that's just a little small asterisk.
Yeah. Do you have any issue with the way this game was called?
I mean, look, we talked about the Wemby on Brunson. Obviously, you look at that, you just point to that if you're a Knicks fan. But overall, I was fine with it. I mean, look, I see Cat grabbing Wemby every time they're connected. It's just they're all grabbing him like
the picture behind you guys is literally that.
Yeah. I think Mike Brown smartly was doing what we see a lot of coaches do in the finals, where you put it out there for the officials to think about, and then next game maybe things are a little bit different. It was, I think, 23 fouls for the Knicks, 21 for San Antonio. I think San Antonio was more aggressive last night. They're the more desperate team. So I think that had a lot to do with the officiate or the foul shot discrepancy. But Brunson and Anunoby, who were the most aggressive Knicks, each had 8. One had 8, one had 9 free throw attempts. The only one to match that was Wemby. In the rest of the game was Wemby with 9. And so, you can't point to some Spur that was getting to the line inordinately. So I was fine with it. It's very physical. And like I said, they clearly missed the call on Wemby, which could have affected the game. But other than that, I think this is gamesmanship by Mike.
I also think they were a little upset with the Spurs trying to fake sub to see if they could get a challenge in, not being given the sub, and Dylan Harper just ambling onto the court.
Those are
that has to at the very least be a delay of game, and it really should be. I'm sorry, there's 6 guys on the court. That's a technical foul. We didn't wave you in.
We know every time pop up, get a sub.
Right, and so and the tax on that is sometimes that happens. Right. But here's what I think: the Knicks were called for all those fouls in the second half because they were fouling. And I didn't look at a single one of those fouls the Knicks were called in the second half and thought, well, that's outrageous. Yeah. Now, I understand Mike Brown's frustration on I have had to challenge on massive plays. I'm 3 for 3 in winning my challenges, which probably means just in the last 2 games, there's later in the game, he didn't have any challenges left. Cat got hacked on the arms. But what I really truly believe is the Knicks were livid, I think rightfully, about the officiating in Game 2 and didn't get a chance to complain about it because they won. I thought the officiating in Game 2 was awful, and I thought it was awful, not conspiratorially, just how it fell. exclusively in the Spurs' direction. The Knicks won anyway, and so this game, they wanted to get that out there. But the Knicks did not lose because of the refs. They lost because they played poorly. They could have stolen it at the end, and it would have been stealing it because they didn't play that well. And so I understand some of the frustration because it felt like we're both playing physical, you're only calling fouls on us. Man, the Knicks were fouling in that game. And Mikal Bridges picked up 2 early fouls that got him out of rhythm. He fouled. The Knicks, to start the fourth quarter, was it? One of the quarters, they had 3 fouls in the first 100 seconds, and they were almost in the bonus immediately. They were fouling. So that part, but I do agree Mike Brown is trying to set the template to get a better whistle in Game 4, which is fine.